What's going on, everybody? I wanted to come back and make a little video. I said a little video like it ain't gonna be a big video. It's gonna be a big video for you guys in regards to some aspects of child support court cases. And a lot of this is making clear the stuff I'm saying because I think people don't understand why I say things in kind of a vague sense. And the reason why I say it in a vague sense is because it's to allow you to think. If I don't teach people how to think, then or teach people to think, they're only going to think what I tell them. And that's the problem with a lot of people out here is they're trying to force agendas and ideas on you. And even me to some degree, like I don't know when I'm doing it because when you're trying to teach people, you are kind of pushing an agenda on them. But we're going to get into some things that I want to make clear, especially with the child support course that I have. And when I'm telling people this, I don't think they're getting this stuff. So a lot of it you want to watch, like if you purchase a course, you want to watch some of the free courses because it'll flesh in some of that stuff or fill in some of that stuff that you may not be getting. Because there's only so much you can give a person in 2, 3 hours. I mean, even an hour. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a way that will assist you in regards to some certain civil and criminal cases, especially with some child support courses, cases, etc. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up for you. And this is what's called equitable intervention. Okay, so we'll go over it and then I'm going to kind of break it down for you. So, like I thank everybody for coming to this channel. And, if you like the Winner Circles content, you could easily like, subscribe, hit the bell, because sometimes you may not be able to hear what's going on with this channel, but we're going to do a dive into this today and it's going to be very powerful. So we're going to go into equitable intervention. And basically, we're going to tell you how to stay, suspend in certain court actions like child support, civil cases, and criminal cases that violate your due process by using an equitable intervention. Now, most lawyers will watch this and say this is gobbledygook, this is sovereign citizen talk, this is BS on if a lawyer does say this. I can 100% prove to you that this is an actual legal mechanism that can be used in the legal system. Just because there's not a case dismissed or a bunch of cases dismissed for equitable reasons don't mean that they were not dismissed for equitable reasons. It depends on how the person structures it. So I've had people ask me, show me one case that is dismissed for subject matter jurisdiction. The court does not like dismiss a case just for subject matter jurisdiction. It will dismiss the case for the action that causes the subject matter jurisdiction, or it will be vague in its dismissal because the court can dismiss things for whatever reason it sees fit to protect itself or both parties. So, with all of that yammering, if someone who's been dragging you into court without proper process, almost every damn state case or every federal case, or you're struggling with an unfair court support order, this is the video you definitely don't want to miss. Okay. So we have to understand what an equitable intervention. Okay. So an equitable intervention is, of course, inherent power under equity to step in and protect a person's rights. First, as I told you in the video, you must know your rights. Okay. If you don't know your rights, no one can protect you. You can't be walking around here ignorant and then just paying for processes and trying to enforce them, but you don't even know your rights. You don't even know the basics. Okay. When no other legal remedy is sufficient or available. But there's also another thing about equitable intervention is when you have not been afforded a legal remedy. Just like if you go to court and they try to drag you into court and not give you counsel, or if you've got ineffective counsel, you can request for an equitable intervention. Okay. So it's not about the technical rules. It's more about fairness, justice, and preventing irreparable harm. So according to the second restatement of torts, Black's Law Dictionary, equitable relief can be granted when legal remedies like filing appeals or motions aren't adequate. So when you have my child support course, when I'm telling you certain things, listen to this. because this is what I was kind of withholding because I thought everybody would get the drip from the course. But I have to understand sometimes when people purchase courses, they don't watch them multiple times. You have to watch courses multiple times just because there's so much information in the course that you may not be able to pick it up on watching it one, two, three, four, 5 times. Even I watch videos multiple times just to make sure I heard what I heard. Courts have recognized this in cases like Younger versus Harris, 401 U.S. 37, 1971, and Trainer versus Hernandez, 43 U.S. 43, 1977, where federal courts have intervened in state actions under exceptional circumstances involving constitutional rights. Okay? So now you might be asking, how does this apply to family or support court? Because I get a lot of times, I get people asking me about custody battles. I do not touch custody battles. And I'm going to tell you why. There's certain things that I understand because of some of my studies about not intervening on people's stuff, right? So now that I understand why you should not fully intervene between two parties, because it's basically devilish. But I don't get into custody. You got to figure that out yourself. Okay. Now I'll help you stop child support being extorted, but I don't touch custody because I think two adults should be able. And then I don't know if I'm helping the right parent or the wrong parent. So I really don't. I don't get into that. I don't try to play judge. I don't try to play God. So we're going to go over how this applies to family court. Family law orders are issued without proper hearings, without jurisdiction, or based solely on administrative processes. This is what I told you in the child support course. Okay. So a lot of you guys are not breaking out of the mental chains because you see that you have to appear in court. So they issue a warrant, you appear in court. And then you come back to me like I'm the one that told you to appear when I told you the exact opposite. Okay. You do not have to appear in court. It is a choice. Everything in life is a choice. Even if you're being arrested, you don't have to appear in court. It's just y'all soft, man. Y'all scared to go to jail. Y'all scared of all this stuff. So you're soft. Just be honest. I don't want to go to jail. If you don't want to go to jail, then you might as well just quit, go somewhere else. Because let me explain. You can't control it. They can incarcerate you for anything when you're on child support. You could be paying and they can make a mix up in the system and incarcerate you. Now, how do you get out of that? That's why I'm saying this stuff is deeper than you just learning a process and then being like, oh, well, I'm done. But that's all people really want is processes. Look, many family law orders are issued without proper hearing. Remember, I just said that without jurisdiction or based solely on administrative process. So that means that you can do the same. I always tell you guys, look and see what the other party is doing so you can learn from them and plan your defense and learn how to do it yourself so you don't have to go to court as the undercard. These cases, you may be able to file an independent equitable action in court. There's multiple reasons: denial of due process, lack of jurisdiction over the person or the subject matter, fraud on court or improper service, financial hardship that's being ignored or enforced through coercion. You're not appealing the child support order directly, you're bringing an equity based challenge in a new action where the court has authority to review, stay, or nullify the enforcement process until the underlying issues are addressed. I've been teaching y'all this for years, but when people go to file it, they get confused. And then I try to tell you, all you have to do is study what they need to do to get you into court. And then when you find a breach in it, you attack it. It'll stay everything. It'll stop everything. Look, Here's some cases. Okay, this is a Harvard Law Review. You guys know I love law reviews. I love reading them. They're great. Okay, volume 89, issue 7 notes that equity provides an alternative forum when the legal forum becomes a tool of injustice. Ooh, y'all don't even know the power of the information I'm giving y'all. So I'm gonna keep it very, very. Ooh, you can do so much with this. Ooh, oh my God! If you know how to do this correctly, you can do so much with it. In Monell versus Department of Social Services, I'm gonna actually go deeper in this in my child support courses. I'm gonna actually add this to my child support course, and I'm gonna really show you how to get rid of some stuff. Really, 40. Even though I showed you enough in there, I'm gonna give you some more just as a cup of tea and a appreciation for the purchase. So 43 US 658, 1978. The court recognized in a liability for policies that violate constitutional rights. So, as I told you before, you do not have to do a constitutional challenge. There are ways to do a constitutional challenge. Okay, you don't have to do it as other people see it. There's so many ways to get done what you want to do in court. You're just not studying how to do it within their system. If you figure it out within their system, you'll be able to get you could do a conditional acceptance in their system and blow them out the water. You could do a equitable challenge and blow them out the water. You just have to learn the procedure. And it's really hard to teach somebody a procedure when you don't always know uh the certain nuances in their state, like how things are supposed to be, the timing, etc. Okay, so we're going to go over here and I'm going to read on an equitable intervention aims to address the disparities and provide a fair and just support for individuals or groups, ensuring that everyone has an opportunity to thrive regardless of their background or circumstances. This approach recognizes that people may need different levels of support to overcome barriers and achieve similar outcomes. Okay. So, look, key aspects of equitable interventions: addressing disparities. Equitable interventions focus on identifying and addressing systemic inequalities that create disparities in access to resources, opportunities, and support. So, like when I showed you the video talking about equitable rescission, that's a video that people need to watch. You need to watch that over and over again and see how you can apply it, and then study how you can apply it to court cases, apply it to debt, credit repair, etc. These videos that I'm dropping for free are damn near worth 10 times as much as the ones that I drop for fee. And the ones I drop for fee are damn near 10 times worth the much that you're paying for them. So the problem is people are not patient, and then they're wanting me to tell them their remedy and me to tell them what to do instead of looking to themselves to tell them what to do. That's why you're always looking for gurus instead of looking for yourself, instead of looking for information to help you yourself figure this out. That's the way you become the strongest. So recognize that individuals have unique needs. Okay, look, community engagement. Equitable interventions often involve community members, stakeholders in planning and implementation processes that ensure interventions are relevant and responsive to local needs. Okay, let's just say we're going to change this to equitable court. Let's just go court. So yeah, I'm going to change that up. All right. So look, equitable intervention by a court refers to the actions taken by a judge to ensure fairness and justice in a case where legal remedies alone are insufficient. This often involves granting remedies beyond monetary damages, such as injunctive injunctions or specific performance. So if you have a loan document, as I've told you guys many times, you can go to court and make them actually disperse the funds and settle a past due mortgage. You guys don't, man, you guys do not understand the power you have. You do not. And what it is I think you're looking for someone to agree that you have the power instead of just saying, I have the power. Just like Snap. Do, do, do. I got the power. Okay. Anywho, equitable remedies. These are court orders that compel, prohibit certain actions going beyond mere financial compensation. Examples of equitable relief: injunction, specific performance, restitution. Okay, injunction is a court order to stop or compel specific actions. What did I tell you? A court order only does a certain amount of things. It either compels the court to do something, or compels another party to do something, or compels them to stop. That's the only thing a court order really does. Okay. They can do more, there can be certain actions, but it usually is to make something clear, to move the court forward, or to stop. Okay. So specific performance, ordering a party to fulfill the contract, especially when damages are inadequate. So if you have a loan, can't you compel them to disperse the value on the instrument to settle the obligation? You bet your ass you can. Restitution, ordering a party to return wrongful obtained benefit. So if you terminate my credit card agreement and then you say that I still owe you, don't I have a right to say, give me all the money back since we terminated the agreement? When equitable relief is used, when legal remedies, monetary damages, and inadequate or insufficient to address the situation, to address situations where justice demands more than financial compensation in cases involving trust, property rights, or fiduciary duties. So look, in historical context, see, I'm gonna have to get into the history with law. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna start posting more frequently and giving you guys better content so you guys can understand some of this stuff. And remember, I'm gonna jump all over the place because I can't put everything in one video. That's the neutralizer in every video. But some people's expectations are ridiculous on this, on most channels. But I appreciate your comments, whether they're good or bad. Some of the comments where they're trolling or people are not doing anything, those comments are going to be removed. There's no reason. If you're not trying to engage with the content or not, what's the point? But I'm not even going there. So I don't really remove comments unless they're just dumb. I've been insulted in comments. I just laugh at it. It's funny to me now. Historically, equitable relief was granted by the chancery courts, separate from common law courts. Okay, everybody, oh, it's common law. Your rights are not secured by common law. Your rights are secured by you. Okay, this is what people don't get. Common law courts do not secure rights. Okay, only a man or a woman can secure their rights. The UCC does not secure rights. The Fair Debt Collection Practices Act does not secure rights. Only a competent person can secure their rights. That's it. That's why I told you guys about competency in the competency doctrine. Go read it. In many jurisdictions, including the United States, legal and equitable remedies are often merged. I told you guys this too. Law and equity merged. And a single court can issue both. So, equitable relief emphasizes fairness and prevents unjust enrichment or other inadequate outcomes. In a trademark infringement case, people tell you, you want to trademark your name. You can, but you need to know how to enforce it. So somebody just telling you how to do a trademark is not telling you that you're going to also need to enforce it too. So if you're teaching somebody to do trademark infringements on their name, tell them that they're going to have to enforce it, and then give them the information to like, hey, you can look into this in enforcing your trademark. Just prepare for this. And I think that's the best way we can teach people is teach you the information and then say, prepare for it this way. Or you can look into preparing for it the way you want to. But the student, you have to be a perpetual student in this. You're not just going to buy one course and just fix all your stuff and then you go back to sleep. And that's what most people want. A court might issue an injunction to stop an infringement, even if monetary damages are awarded, as an ongoing infringement could damage the business. Equitable relief can also be used to address public interest issues, such as enforcing environmental regulations or protecting civil rights. Some of you guys that are going to court, a lot of you guys don't understand that you guys that are going to child support actually could do a class action lawsuit against some of the child support agencies. But I was going to go into this deeper. I'm just going to stop here because I think that this is more than enough information, especially what's on the internet, because most people are not bringing this up or they may not know of it. But you have to understand the equitable intervention. You have to understand that that's a ability for you to stay a court case where your rights or your due process rights are being violated. That's why I tell you guys, you have to know what's being violated. You have to know what they're doing. So if you issue, like if I object to the jurisdiction of the court and then the court sets a new hearing date, the court is violating my due process rights. The moment that they set a new hearing date, they're violating my due process rights. How do I know that? I know that because once a jurisdiction is challenged, it must be instantly addressed. So if they're not addressing my jurisdictional challenge, what they're doing is saying they're not listening to me. So if the court's not listening to me, then I'm not going to let them get a judgment. And with that being said, y'all have a great day. I'm out.